Okay, so I hope you guys are doing well. We are going to do a demo on the Phet Build an Atom Lab. Okay, I'm going to help you guys through a little bit of this sheet here. And you guys should be able to do everything else by yourself, all right? But you should be able to get to Phet Build an Atom Lab, but all you do is Google this right here, just like I have Phet Build an Atom. It is going to pop up right here. And when you get into this section, just click the play button and it should load for you. All right. Now you want to go to the first one. Can go through these other two if you'd like to, but for this purpose, we're just going to do this. All right. So next thing I want you to do, where it says net charge, I expand that, and mass number, expand that. Okay. So first thing I want you to do is put one proton in there. Okay. So I'm just dragging and dropping with the left mouse button. All right. So take one proton. Remember, you have protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons have a positive charge, +1. Electrons have a negative charge, -1. Neutrons have no charge. All right. So if you drag one proton in there, what do you notice? Okay. It's telling you the element hydrogen. Remember, hydrogen has one proton. It's telling you the net charge. It is +1. Why? Because a proton gives you +1. All right. Mass number is 1. Okay. Remember, your atomic number is your number of protons. Your mass number is your protons plus your neutrons. Okay. So also notice that it says plus ion. An ion simply means an atom that has a charge. It's not balanced. Okay. So what I want you guys to notice, I'm going to put a neutron in here. Now you notice it still has a +1 charge. Okay. However, if I take this electron, put it on here, what do you notice? It says neutral atom. Okay. Net charge is 0. Why is that? It's because I have +1 from the proton and -1 from the electron. So if you add 1, subtract 1, you are back at 0. Okay. Now notice the mass number is 2. Why? Because I have 1 proton plus 1 neutron. Okay. The atomic number changes the element. Mass number is just protons plus neutrons. But let's say I pull this neutron out, put it here. What is my mass number? 1. Okay. So again, protons plus neutrons are the mass number. All right. Now, let's clear it all out. Again, I'd say put the net charge and mass number on there. Okay. So now I'm going to add 1 proton, 1 neutron, 1 electron. Now, notice that the proton and neutron are in the center in the nucleus, and the electrons are always going to be orbiting outside. Also note, electrons have a lot less mass. They're a lot smaller than protons and neutrons, all right? But notice this is stable. Now, let's say we want to change the element. So if we want to change the element, what do we need to add or subtract? Remember, what element it is determined by the number of protons, okay? So if I add another proton in, now you notice it is helium, okay? But it has an ion. It has a +1 charge. So what do I need to add in order to take that +1 charge down to 0? Well, I need to add an electron, okay? Now, you notice it's at 0, but remember, I want the same for this to be a stable atom. Well, it's stable now, but I'm going to have 2 protons, 2 neutrons, 2 electrons. Everything's even, okay? All right. So what happens if I just keep adding protons in there? Well, you notice this is unstable. I have 3 protons, 2 neutrons, and 2 electrons. Notice now it is lithium. Why is it lithium? Because it has 3 protons, okay? So I throw a neutron in there. Notice it's stable now. That balanced it, but it is +1. What do I need to add to take that +1 away? 1 electron. Okay, now, let's say that I take away some protons and some neutrons, but I leave extra electrons. Notice now it has a negative charge, okay? That is because it has more electrons than it does protons. So the negatives outweigh the positives, okay? So I have 3 negatives and 2 positives, so that leaves me 1 in the hole. All right, my mass number is 4 because I have 2 protons plus 2 neutrons. All right, so if I add more protons, more electrons, more neutrons, let's see, I have 1 too many electrons. Let's add another proton. Watch what happens to the element again. Now it is beryllium. All right, so I have 4 protons, 4 neutrons, and 4 electrons. Net charge is 0. Mass number is 8. Okay? All right, so hopefully that gives you guys an idea of what we're looking at there. Now, next thing. So we built some atoms. Now we are going to look at this. All right, so if you want, I would recommend you do this. Periodic table of elements. All right, just go to the first one right here. We're going to look for carbon. I just know it is right here. Carbon is number 6 on the periodic table, and carbon has 6 protons. The atomic number is 6. The mass number is 12. That means it has 6 protons, 6 neutrons. Okay, so if you are looking at this carbon, you see it is number 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 6 in here. Okay, now number of neutrons, I remember this number cut in half. Half of it is protons, half of it is neutrons. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here. Neutrons is 6. Mass number is 12. It tells me right here on the periodic table, you see that 12. And then number of electrons. So if I have 6 protons, that's 6 pluses, okay? 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you see it's carbon. Just to even it out, I'm going to throw these neutrons in there. We'll get 4, 5, 6. But what is the net charge? It is positive 6. So what do I need to make that 0? I need 5, 6 positives. I need 6 negatives to balance that charge out. Okay? Notice now it's 0. I have 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. That is a carbon atom. So if I have 6 pluses, I need 6 minuses. Okay? So hopefully you guys see how that works. 6 protons, because that is the atomic number. That is what determines the atomic number. Number of protons determines what element it is. Again, I take it away, changes the element. Add 1, changes the element. Okay? Now, to keep that charge, you can only... We're going to look at it this way. I'll go over adding and subtracting charges later, but for the purpose of this demo, do not worry about it, okay? All right, so we did that one. You guys can go ahead and do nitrogen and oxygen. Now, fill those in on your own. Now, we're going to get down here. These can look a little tricky, but don't let them intimidate you, okay? Now, this is hydrogen, but what you will notice, let's clear this out. Click this little circle button, it resets it, okay? Now, I know hydrogen is right here. Its atomic number is 1, and its mass number is 1.008, all right? So, I'm going to put 1 in there. I'm going to make it hydrogen. Notice it is a +1 ion. I'm going to put that in there. Now, right now I have a mass number of 2, okay? And that can be a little tricky, but again, let's not get hung up on that. Let's not worry about that, all right? Now, notice that 1 is the atomic number, but 5 is the mass number, okay? Now, how could that be? Well, what can I add in here? Remember, I need a mass number of 5, but if I add protons, it changes the element. Now, what can I add in to make this mass number 5? Well, I can add neutrons, okay? See how that mass number is going up. All right, now my mass number is 5. I have not changed the element. It is still hydrogen. So the mass number is 5. atomic number is 1, and yes, sometimes the atomic number will be on the bottom, sometimes it's on top. You just have to learn to match the symbol with the atomic number from the periodic table, okay? All right, now, number of protons, I know the atomic number is 1. Number of neutrons, okay? Now, what is 5 minus 1? It is 4, okay? So if you go in here, that's 5 total. 5 minus 1 is 4, so that is how I figured that out. Now, number of electrons. Again, this can be a little tricky, all right? Notice that it is -1 on the charge, okay? So, what is my charge right now? 0. That is because this 1 proton and 1 electron have evened out the charge. So if I want to make it -1, which one of these 3 do I add? Which one has a negative charge? It's an electron, okay? So notice now I have a -1, all right? If you go back in here, I have 1 proton for my atomic number. That makes it hydrogen, okay? My mass number is 5 right here. That's because I have 1 proton plus 4 neutrons. Remember, protons plus neutrons is your mass number. And then for my charge, -1, I have how many electrons? 2. Okay, so there's that one. That one is filled in. All right, this one is also hydrogen. This is beryllium and beryllium. So hydrogen is your first one. Beryllium is 4. Number 4 on the periodic table. You need 4 protons, okay? So I will let you guys figure those out. But remember, when you're getting to these charges, you're either adding or subtracting electrons, okay? So just do the best you can on these. You need help, raise your hand. This right here, this little symbol tells you kind of how you can read these. There are 3 pages on this. Again, do the best you can. If you need any help, raise your hand. I will come around and assist you. But again, I'm putting this video in there so that you can reference it anytime you need help, okay? All right, so if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and have a good day.